Again, Sarita, thank you so much for having me. I am partially or totally, let me say, like you, just feeling the climate of our world with everything that is happening, the systematic racism that has just been really, really illuminated during this season. And just as African American people, we have a lot of feelings surrounded around these issues, just historically. So I just want to speak to not only African Americans, but to the human race at large to give us just a little motivation in this moment, just to respond about how we're feeling. And so the first thing, even in this moment, I want us to own how we feel. You know, I don't know about you all, but when I watched the video of George Floyd and video of others as well, I just had to admit I'm angry. As a matter of fact, I'm a little pissed off because things just shouldn't be happening like this. And it seems like our forefathers have fought a fight that we continue to battle. And it seems like we had made progress, but it was like, boom, no, we're kind of still in that space. So let's just own how we're feeling. But here's the motivation here. Let's not respond to our emotions, but let's respond to an agenda. All right. And so when we respond, let's have an agenda. Here's my challenge as well. As we talk about emotions, I really want to challenge you to have a conversation with someone other than your ethnicity. I know for me, Sarita, the other day I was walking in my neighborhood and my Caucasian neighbors, I could tell they were scared and they kind of waved at me like really, really fast. And I just waved back and I just said, hey, how you doing? And, you know, I just had that conversation. How do you feel about everything that's going on? And let's have some conversation and dialogue with people other than what we look like. So that's number one. Here's number two. All of us should have a response. All of us should have a response. Now, our response may look different. Some of us are going to protest. Some of us are going to write legislation. Some of us are going to do grassroots work. But whatever you do, all of us should have a response because your silence is an advocacy for the inhumane of other people when we do not speak up. This is for all mankind. So all of us should have a response. I watched the special, Sarita, that Oprah hosted the other day, and the big challenge there was, what is your ask? So when you respond, know what you want. You just can't say, we want freedom. What do you want to be free of? We want to be free in this season of police brutality. And so we have to be very specific about what we want when we respond. Here's number three. Determine how to properly use your influence. I'm all about leadership. All of us are leaders, and we have to properly use our influence to impact the communities where we are. Everybody should be doing something in this season. All right, now, if you don't know what to do, here's that big P word, partnership. That's number four, partnership. I know for me, I'm not really in the trenches of the political scene, Sarita, but I have friends who are. So when this hit, I reached out to a Michael McBride. I reached out to a Kendra Brown who was in the Black Caucus. Hey, what can I do to do my part? What can I do to support what is already happening on the table and to push the agenda forward? And so perhaps you were kind of like me, you know, you're like, you don't know what to do. You don't know how to respond. Let's partner with organizations and individuals who are doing the work, and let's respond in that matter. Here's number five. Here's that big one, y'all. Everybody, we have to vote. We have to vote. Everybody, we have to vote. When you do not vote, what you're saying is, I do not care who makes the decisions regarding the education that I receive or my children receive. When you do not vote, what you're saying is, I do not care who is the judge that sits on the bench when it's time to make an adjudication in court for our brown and black men. When you do not vote, what you are saying is that you don't care the type of medical coverage and insurance that you have. So understand that voting hits us three ways. It hits us medication, it hits us incarceration, and it hits us as it relates to our education. So you all, let's vote. Let's not just vote when President Barack was on the ballot, but we have to vote down the ballot to make sure our voices are heard. Everybody's voices should be heard in the ballot. Here's the last thing I want to say in this moment, Sarita, to everyone. Let's stay committed to the change, because a lot of us, we're out on the streets, we're connecting when the media is there, when there are large groups, but when the large groups have simmered and there's still people that are on the ground and they're fighting for you and I, let's stay committed, not only when it's convenient, but when we must be committed to that purpose and to that change. And it's going to take some time, but we have to stay committed. And so in this moment, again, I hope you all felt my heart. I hope you feel the love, not just for African-American people, but for all people, because all of us should be treated with equality.
No, thank you so much for bringing that motivational moment and laying out those points, right? Like owning how we feel and the responsibility with that being that we respond to an agenda, not to an emotion, and pushing ourselves outside of the boundary to have conversations with folks who don't look like us, so that we can not only have that opportunity, I would think, to practice empathy, but to also empower ourselves and others with the knowledge that's needed to navigate these times where everybody just about is feeling something about, you know what I mean, in response to what's going on. That second point being that silence is an advocacy for inhumane treatment. And so figuring out that, which led to number 3, determining how to properly use your influence, your voice, and that may be number 4, partnering with the folks who are already doing the work and figuring out how you can support or get involved. And all of that kind of culminating in number 5, and perhaps maybe one of the most important points is the importance of voting and understanding that if you want to have a voice, one of the best ways to exercise it is through voting, and to really be clear on the power of it. And I love your closing point of, you know, stay committed to change, not only when it's convenient. Stay committed, not only when it's convenient. I think that's just a lesson for life. Like, doesn't matter what area it is, you know, just that importance of commitment, not just when it's convenient. And that's something that really resonated with me. So I appreciate you for that, for sure.
And you know, Sarita, I forgot to add that all of us need to respond to the census during this season. Let's make sure that we are completing the census, because when you don't go on your device, your cell phone, whatever it is, it's so convenient these days. What you're saying is that you don't exist. And if our lives matter, then we need to head on over during this broadcast, whenever, you know, that silent time, complete your census. Make sure that people know that you are alive, because this deals with the allocation of our funding to our community.
It's like if our lives matter, then make it count. You know, then make sure it's counted. Make sure your life is counted. No, listen, that totally makes sense. So why don't you let folks know where they can, you know, follow you at and continue to be in step with you on your journey.
Yeah, absolutely. My website is www.leadershipdevelopme.com, and I'm on social media, all of the platforms at Lawanne Grant, Lawanne, Grant, Grant. And Sarita, if you will, it's great if I connect with you all, but listen, I talked about partnership. There's a website, livefreeusa.org. That's who I'm partnering with during this season. A reputable brother, Reverend Michael McBride. If you turn on CNN, you'll see him. Live Free USA is statewide. He's going in to help faith-based organizations and nonprofit organizations. He was first on the ground to give masks to our communities. And so if you want to partner during this season, again, I would love to connect with you, but most importantly, I want us to connect with people who are going to impact immediate change in this season. And so that website is livefreeusa.org. Again, livefreeusa.org.
All right. We appreciate you for sharing that bit of information.